this week we find ourselves at one of the most iconic racing circuits on the planet for this round of the European Racing Series GT3 Championship. It is the one, the only Suzuka. This track has seen championships won, championships lost across many different formulas of racing, be it Formula 1, GT racing, Super GT, Super Formula, up and down the pecking order of motorsport. And today we are driving the GT3 cars around this iconic Japanese racing circuit, where we'll see the drivers contest 130R, the spoon, the chicane, all of the corners really, the S is in the middle. There are so many challenging corners. I would like to quickly address the elephant in the room. That black box at the top of the screen will be going. That is to provide extra security for the server, so then the name cannot be broadcast over the Twitch channel and the Twitch live streams due to the problems we are currently having in Assetto Corsa Competizione. There is Suzuka is one of my most loved tracks on any calendar that features it. It's just one of those circuits where I can just turn up and drive. It's a track that doesn't kill you for making one simple mistake, but you can't make many mistakes. I mean, you know, you've got turn one here, you know, the hairpin. Already you're going in so quick, you're hard on the brakes, getting back out wide and then going back round. It is one of the hardest but most rewarding corners in Assetto Corsa Competizione, in my opinion. So here we go. We will actually see a car drive around it. You can see he's getting the angle. He's getting the slip out. Same with the BMW. Less slip as he heads around the corner. So we will be waiting for the end of the session before moving directly into qualifying, of which I will jump on with the first car that I will find. And we will go on a lap of this very iconic circuit. Camera work provided by my lovely Xbox 360 controller that is still going strong after all these years. We are getting ready. The session will just be coming to a close now. As you see, one of the Porsches going insanely deep. And we fly the camera up through the S's. Wonder if we'll be able to catch anyone else coming through. No, it doesn't seem it. So we will be going on to the qualifying session in just a moment. I am pumped for today's race. Suzuka just... It's one of those circuits that I cannot get enough of at all. I just love this track. As on the grid so far, we've got 35 cars. As we will also know, over on the official Kunos channel, there is the Land of the Free DLC announcement launchy special race that they're doing. That is something that I will be very excited to see in the sim. It's something that I'm sure will give an extra bit of variety into series as well. 3 American tracks coming in the form of Watkins Glen, the Indianapolis road course, and one other one that I cannot remember the name of for the life of me, as we will be jumping in to the start of the session. You can see all of the drivers already disappearing off down the pit lane. So here you go. We'll jump on with the 188 Honda of Gareth Foulin. as we jump on board, or not. He's just gone out. I wonder. Let's jump on there actually with Konstantin Soldatov, current championship leader by only 2 points to Maxim Komyazuk in the Audi R8 Evo 2, the number 1 car. 87 points versus 89 points. That is a very, very tight battle up at the front of the championship. We will, I think, be seeing these two go toe-to-toe with each other. It's going to be a hard one to call. Suzuka, one of those tracks that I have never, ever been good at calling the result around. But I just cannot get enough of this circuit. And I hope the drivers will be equally as receptive of my opinion of this track. I'm sure at the end of the race, some of these drivers, maybe like I do as well. Actually, I do this a lot. I get to the end of the race and I sit there and go, I never want to drive this track again for about a week. And then I go back to it and I'm like, oh, you know what? Actually, this track's pretty calm. So we will jump on board with Soldatov. As, I do have the chat open, so if there's any problems, please let me know. So we go on the run then, the start of the corner, out of the casino triangle. You get a good bit of a bit of respite, really, where you can use it to draft and set yourself up for turn 1 and turn 2. Hit that inside curve, get the brakes, because you keep going right for turn 2. Now into the S curves. The first part, turn 3, turn 4, easy to wash out around all of these. Then turn 5, as you go left, hit that curve. Then you get turn 6. The track does fall away from it. Also goes off camber just a little bit. Then you head uphill for turn 7 through the Dunlop curve. Make sure that the car doesn't wash out wide and onto the grass, as now you get a little bit of a long corner towards the Dejna curve. Over that curve, make sure you don't hit the gravel. Then turn 9 as you head under the bridge, the very iconic bridge. Then up through 10 to the hairpin at 11. We'll see cars inside, outside, cutting back, trying to hold the apex, maybe push a bit out wide. It's going to be one of the action zones today. Then you get a bit of a run as you go through turn 12, the long right-hander. Then you get to the spoon curve, another double corner, double left this time, 13. Then 14, which goes downhill again, quite easy to wash the car out into the gravel, I found. Then the long run to one of the most iconic corners of this circuit. Get the car to the right, and then 130R, in we go, hit the curb, get the outside, don't invalidate your lap. Then to the final 3 corners at the casino triangle, 16, 17, and 18 to round off the lap of this iconic racing circuit, as Soldatov did actually invalidate his lap that time around. Actually, I turned off the black box, wasn't it? There you go. So we're with Soldatov. We will see. Oh no, he actually did go on pole. My apologies. A 159.075. Gutman in P2, just under a tenth off. 159.172, and Anafried in the 911 Audi, a 159.390. So a little bit more off, just over 3/10 for Anfried in P4, which should be maybe a bit easier to grab. So we will actually jump with him, as he is starting to actually eat away at that time just a little bit this lap, as we get a yellow flag for Gutman and Red. I'm not sure what happened there. We didn't catch it. It's going to be one of, I think, the most interesting qualifying sessions of the season that I have witnessed so far. As with Ole Pitchik, the Team Ballas Ukraine 141 car, as he is heading up towards 130R. Another yellow flag, but I think that might have just been someone abandoning his lap. The top time now is by Garafulin, a 159.045, which pushes Soldatov to within 300th of pole position, but I'm sure he will grab that pretty quickly from what I have seen of him throughout my time commentating this series. As across the line comes Pitchik. Does he improve at all? Yes, he does, but it doesn't improve position. Now 159.470, putting him just over 4 tenths off of pole position, but under a 10th off of P5 in Anfried. As we are on board with BMW, this gives you a very, very good view of the circuit as he's coming up through the Dunlop chicane. We'll see another yellow flag. That was Firkov. I wonder if that was him just abandoning his lap to get more fuel in to go again, as so close to the curves on either side. You can just see how close the margins are up the front here for mistake. You know, you're using as much of the curb as possible. You're also, you know, you use more curb. You're going into the gravel, which I'm not the smartest of people. However, I do believe gravel is not conducive to a good lap time. Now, that might just be me. You know, I might not be noticing something here because I'm nowhere near the times that these guys are putting in. So they're clearly, you know more than me and are quicker than me. But I don't know if gravel is very helpful for a lap time, as we see Soldatov trying to just grab as much of the slipstream off of that Porsche as possible. I mean, you might as well, if you're going to be trying to use it, you might as well be grabbing it with both hands. In fact, as through the Casio triangle, this should be pole position if he does not invalidate his lap over the final curb, which he has not. He has lost a whole heap of time though through the Casio triangle, but across the line it is going to be in the 58. It's actually a 58.865. What a lap for Soldatov, who is currently in the lead of the championship, which I'm sure he'll be very happy to see his, what's that word, to see his driving pay off so far with pole position. Garafulin now has just under 2 tenths to make up, but Gutman just over 3 tenths, actually in the thousandths. And looking at the delta at this current minute in time, he is in that. He is set at the very least to jump into P2 ahead of Garafulin. However, there have been times where his delta has peaked above the 0.310, which would see him go into pole position. We'll see as he comes through the Casio triangle again. A lot of drivers seem to be losing a whole heap of time through the Casio triangle, and Gutman is no different. He dropped down from 2 tenths to under a 10th of an improvement over his last lap, and he'll come across the line. He won't improve on his position. Now goes 0.28 behind pole position, but here is a driver who is looking very, very racy and is looking maybe to take Soldatov's position on provisional pole with 5 minutes left to go in the session. However, very interestingly, Soldatov only has one of the best session sectors. Gutman has the best session sector in sector 3, and Cadezia has it in sector 2. That's very interesting. Garafulin has currently sat himself in second place with no best sectors. However, this should maybe change across the line. No, he's aborted his lap. In fact, he was on to take pole position. Maybe that could be a tactical choice, because he was on to take pole. As we have a look around, Gala has just pulled himself over. Let's jump now to Dean Vella, the 54 Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 for GT Omega RPM Esports. Currently sat in 13th, 1.7 seconds flat off of pole position, and currently about 5/10 up on his best time so far. He did not invalidate through that. That must have been absolutely on the limit as we head through the Casio triangle. That looked like the Audi head of Vella slowed himself up, maybe to get a bit of a gap. That hasn't seemed to cost Vella any time though, as he heads across the start-finish line, and that is going to put him up into 11th place, a 2:15, almost into the 159s, which will be the 2 positions up, actually, that will be, as Desyik has had what looks like a decent sized off. I'm not sure if that was an off or if that was just him aborting his lap. Here is a driver who I think was a bit higher up at the last race that I witnessed, Stefan Kraling, the 68 Mosquito Motorsport Porsche, as he is heading under the bridge. Currently sat in 26th, best lap of a 2:01.277, 7 thousandths to catch Siasan up ahead. So we will see if he should grab that. That's enough time for it to be net Cody, really. So I'm sure we will see him grab that soon. It's going to be really, really, really close to cool. In fact, with 2 minutes left of the session. As over curve 1, over curve 2 of the Casio triangle. He has gained actually a whole heap of time there. Went up from about a 10th gained to 2/10, but it looks like the exit through the final little kink has slowed him up just a bit across the line. He is going to improve, I think, by 2 positions. Yes, into 24th for 2:01.132 for Kraling. Actually looking like a very, very, very compact field. Konstantin Soldatov still on provisional pole for the time being. The weather looking very, very nice as well. It's looking to stay overcast for the next half an hour, which will not matter too much to our drivers, as we are 1 minute left of qualifying. So even if it runs over a bit, it should not matter that whole deal. We will see as Soldatov comes through the spoon curve. He should get one more lap after this. However, at the current minute, the closest car that can be any threat is Gutman, who's actually tied with Amfried in P4. And that is sitting at 0.28 seconds. Behind Garafulin. Soldatov goes, and he should improve once again. No, he's slowed back. Has he? No, he has not. He has improved again. A 1:58 8th lap. I think, as Charles happened to my mate a few days ago, I think that the whole having getting a flat thing in ACC seems a little bit easier, as the timer finishes for quali. 2 minutes 19 left, so Soldatov, who has just started his lap, should be fine. And also, here is a very, very funny thing at this current minute in time. P1 has the best first sector, so that's Soldatov with the best first sector of a 39.465. Garafulin has the best second sector of a 52.860, and Gutman in P3 has the best third sector of a 26.265, which is very interesting when that happens. We will see. Gutman is improving, but I don't know if he's improving enough to take Soldatov off of the top step, but he will be improving enough, I would think, to knock Garavulan off of second place. But that was a very, very good run through the Casio Triangle. It will be close as he heads across the line. It will be second place for Gutman, I do believe. Yes, it is. Within a tenth of Soldatov. What a lap there from Gutman to within a tenth. But will Soldatov come back with a reply? More so just to solidify, really, his position at pole. I think he will, but it'll be by the tiniest amount. That will be a 58.785. Wow, what a lap. He's definitely made them pay. So there is your qualifying results. We will head back to garage and we can read through them. So Soldatov lines up on pole, 158.785, followed by Gutman in the number 97 car. Garavulan comes in third, Anfrey fourth, fifth was Kedzia, sixth was Pitchik, seventh was Komyazuk, who is currently P2 in the standings behind Soldatov. He'll have one mountain to climb to get to that position. Grama is in 8th. 9th was Desiek. 10th was Kazienski. 11th was Vela. 12th was Oliger. 13th was Gaylor. 14th was Ulrich. 15th was Mullard. 16th was Abranhoser. 17th was Catalano. 18th was Reyes. 19th was Anache. 20th was Silerso. 21st is Clays. 22nd is Svirkov. 23rd is Siasan. 24th is Savsku. 25th is Hajek. 26th is Pervu. 27th goes to Yativ. 28th goes to Kraling. 29th goes to Brady. 30th goes to Hildebrand. 31st goes to Zink. 32nd goes to Costinger. 33rd goes to Capagreco. 34th goes to Bonds. 35th goes to B.F. And 36th goes to Taylor. So we get the 2 minutes on the clock to get set up and get ourselves running. Now remember, it is one of, for me anyway, it is one of the most nerve-wracking moments in sim racing. No matter what you're doing, it is one of the most nerve-wracking parts, is lining up for that race, because you're sat there and it's like, am I going to be the one to have a turn 1 crash? You know, but you will never ever know until the point. So as we see the cars getting themselves ready, it is going to be one of my favorite race starts of the season, because that turn 1 and turn 2 will take absolutely no prisoners whatsoever. You'll run down. If you're too wide, it is terrifying, especially if you're on the outside. It's terrifying if you're on the inside as well, to be fair, because on the outside you have a decent amount of track that you can run off to. On the inside, you've got to hope that, you know, they realize that you're on the inside. But it is a BMW front row. But as we said at Imola, watch the Audis on the launch and on the acceleration. You will see them gain a lot of ground, I do feel, on the BMWs. This is round 4. of... How many rounds? Round 4 of 7. Soldatov has a 2-point lead to retain. As we do get ourselves off for the race start, we're going to go to the blank. As you do see broadcasting getting a bit sad as the start of the race goes on. We are just looking around. You can see the group of cars up ahead from Komyazuk from the dashboard of the number 1 Audi R8 LMS Evo 2 as he goes through a BMW. And then on the rear wing as well, you can see the cars start to appear from behind. And you can just see them all down there. And there you go, right in the mid there, as we see Ulrich deciding to rally cross a Bentley Continental GT3 car. That is not what I would do with one, but you know what? His team have paid for the car. He can rally cross it if he fancies, you know? But where we will be looking will be up the front of the grid, where we will be seeing, I think, a battle into turn 1, then maybe through all the way to turn 7 at the start of the race before things cool down again. It's going to be a brilliant race. So, where will we be seeing the attacks? That will be the question. Where will the attacks be? Where might we be seeing defense? Where might we be seeing drivers going, I can be a bit more aggressive here? That will be the big question. Where will drivers sit there and go, we can be more aggressive, we can be more conservative, you know, where can I slow down, you know, defend, and where can I attack? Soldatov gets a more easy job, in my opinion, at the start of the race, as he just has to focus on getting the best start as possible, building a gap, and then defending that gap throughout the race. But that is easier said than done, I would say, as we will now start to see the drivers coming 2 by 2 just at the end of the straight. So they all crest the hill in the back shot of the camera. Oh, this is going to be great fun. This is going to be great fun. Still not seeing 2 by 2 from Soldatov and Garafulin and Gutman. So Gutman there goes side by side with Soldatov, as they now will get the speed limit warning on the start down towards the start-finish line. But for round 4 of the ERS GT3 Championship, we don't go green at this line. We, in fact, go green at the next line. And I always mistime this. We go green at Suzuka for round 4 of the European Racing Series GT3 Championship. And already Soldatov has accelerated away. Gutman's got a bit of a nudge up the back end by an Audi R8. That is the 911 car in the Skechers livery of Anfried. However, Gutman does get the position back off of the Audi, so I'm not sure if Anfried let him past or if Gutman just managed to bundle his way past. It could have been one, it could have been half dozen of one, 12 of the other. As the old saying does goes, further back we are seeing a yellow flag, in fact, for Reyes, who is off. He is going to be able to rejoin back onto the circuit, thankfully not in the way of anybody. And Ache trying to chase down the rear end of Mullard there, the number 7 Audi, as they're going to run. Maybe the BMW could try down the inside at the hairpin, but I'm not too sure, as we see some more cars going 2 by 2 up to the hairpin, through the hairpin in fact, all the way around. Whoa, there are some cars going too wide just in the background. But I think if we touch some wood, that we have gotten through the first few corners cleanly. That we will be having the broadcast overlay back on in just a moment. As that through the final few corners we come. And get the broadcast overlay back as we very much see an Ache right on the rear end there of Mullard, as all round we see Bebeth at the Casio triangle. Sorry, I didn't quite see, we just caught on that right at the end, but that is Bebeth, the 111 Ferrari 488 round, and that has seen him drop back to second to last on the grid due to a crash earlier on, as now we see Catalano right on the attack of Gala. Not quite sure, they were running 2 by 2. It is McLaren versus McLaren, so the end result is very much so driver and setup dependent. Who is better here, who has the better setup for the track and the car, and who is just quicker in racing overall. But right now it looks like Gala has pulled a bit of a gap to Catalano. We'll see as we head up through the hairpin once more. 1 hour still on the clock. The race is lasting 1 hour and 5 minutes, and really it speaks volumes to the ability of the drivers, how, you know, we've only had really light hiccups throughout the race so far, throughout the first lap, and now it's looking like things have calmed down a bit, but really nothing ever calms down in racing at all. It's really through Spoon Curve. It looks like Catalano has gained to Gala, is now a bit further up for P10. We see Vela in the slipstream trying to get past Esiek, but he will have the outside. Vela went deep. Vela went very deep actually. He's lost out of position to Oliger as well, and almost under attack from Ulrich behind. So that's the risk of going outside through 130R. Is the fact that, you know, it's not always going to hold through the corner. Sometimes you might just misjudge a turning point and go deep, and it looks like that has just been what has happened here. As now we're with Matthias Kedzia, who is chasing down the rear end of Pitchik, who has a 5-second penalty which will be served in his pit stop this race. So on the road technically at the minute, Kedzia is in P5. I just take a look over to the chat. Do remember, I am every so often reading the chat. If you have any messages, anything you want said on stream, granted that it doesn't break Twitch TOS or any of that fun stuff, put it in the chat. Have a chat. You know, I am human. I'm a social animal. I like talking, which is good, seeing as I'm doing commentary. But we move on to more racing, as we are now within the 1 hour mark. It seems like a long time, maybe if you're just watching from outside, but I'm sure for the drivers it feels a lot longer, and for myself, I know it is going to go absolutely rapidly, in fact. As we see Ulrich, he almost got the move on Vela earlier on, the last lap at the at 130R into the Casio triangle. It was just a bit too behind that car there to actually make that move stick thus far. However, maybe not down the straight, because Audi straight line speed is, in the words of a friend of mine, unfair. He may be under attack from Gala and Catalano, which could actually push him to drive faster. I know it does me when I've got someone breathing down my neck, is just to drive faster and faster and faster, and then eventually I look in the mirror and go, wasn't there a car there a minute ago? Little do I know it's because I race public lobbies and they've probably crashed. So, you know, I'm calling it. As down in P30 we see Zinc under attack from both Solorusso and Capagreco, the flat-out sim racing cars, the 337 and the 106 Mercedes-AMG GT3. I believe that's the Evo and the BMW M4 Big Schnozzinator. Trying to get past Zinc. They will run too wide through the first corner. Solorusso goes through. However, his teammate has just been stuck behind a little bit there through turn 1 and turn 2. Now we have Nelson Abranhosa, who's on the rear end of Catalano. Not quite sure what happened to Mullard to drop down as he did, as we jump on board the Aston Martin Vantage V8 version. You can tell it's a V8 version because it's not screaming in V12 as they do. Further up, Vela has now got a bit of a mountain to climb after his earlier crash. However, I am sure he will be able to climb that mountain, especially in the Audi R8. But Oliger up ahead is not going to be an easy challenge whatsoever for the GT Omega RPM Esports machine to negotiate his way past. But we will very much see as up ahead, Soldatov has actually pushed the gap now to 2.6 seconds. We are actually going to jump up as Anfried has managed to get himself past Scarafulin at the Casio triangle. But now that Honda may have the straight line speed over the Audi R8 in the draft. We will see as Scarafulin looks to the outside, in fact. But Gutmann, oh, that move was made very, very late for the defense, and Gutmann is round and off of the circuit. We will jump on board and watch the replay here. As you can see, he goes to the inside and Gareth Rulin follows his way through, takes to the grass and just gets collected on the exit. That will be, I believe, a lot of swearing in the background there for Frederick Gutmann, who is now down in 13th. I'm gonna guess with a nice decent amount of damage to the side end of his BMW. Wow, we see it happen. Maybe Gareth Rulin was trying to get the attack on Anfrey through the first corner, and Frederick just decided, you know, at that point, I'm gonna come. I'm obviously not gonna say too much. However, I do know from being in the car in situations like that that it is a really, really painful situation to get into. Especially because now you'll be sat there thinking, I've got an absolute mountain to climb. Wow, we've already seen so much happen in this race as Kezia decides to just rally across the the right-hand side of the BMW. As he's actually now under pressure from Komiazak behind the number 1 Audi R8, and we will grab onto the rear wing as he tries to break the toe. I don't think Komiazak will be close enough behind to make a move, but it will close him up. As up ahead as well, we see Pitchik on the attack of Garavulin, who has now dropped to 1.8 seconds behind Anfried, who himself has dropped to 4 seconds behind Soldatov. So Soldatov really right now is more or less safe in the lead of the race. However, we are only a very, very short amount in. As we will see Pidgeck. Has he got his lights on? He has. It is 4:37 PM, I guess. It might be time for lights. As we are on board. We're actually more on board now. So we see him chase down the rear end of the 118 Honda. Maybe a look to the inside at the hairpin, but it was not to be. There was no overlap there either, so I think it was a good idea that Pidgeck did not try down the inside there. And further up ahead as well, Anfried has picked himself up a 5-second penalty too. That will be maybe a bit annoying, as there's Anfried there, and look who we can see off of the rear wing. We can see both Garafulin, Pidgeck and Kezia. However, apparently that gap has not fallen back at all, but earlier on we couldn't actually see Anfried from the views of these cars. So I'm sure we will start to see maybe a battle forming here a little bit later on. But for now, we've got the best part of 53 minutes, really, to go through, as Mullard is in the pits. And Sverkov, a yellow flag there, in fact. And you can see he is under a lot of pressure, in fact, from the Audi behind him of Hajek. Actually running him all the way to the pit wall to run him back out to defend that inside line. Is he going to hold it all the way through? They are door to door. But I think Lucas Sverkov is going to hold 21st for a little bit longer. But here is the replay of what happened. He's hit the grass on the way in, and it's just sent the car around. He's tried to gather it back up and come back onto the circuit. And yeah, that was just what's happened there. He's just hit the grass on the way in. And obviously that has made the car go, I do not want to be doing this, as we see Anache under attack from Abranhoser. The Porsche there, the 224 of place, almost trying up the inside at the hairpin as well, but that door was quite quickly shut. We will see that Porsche of Glaze is looking very, very, very close to the rear end of the BMW. We'll see down the straight. Straight's not really the Porsche's forte in the current billing. And Abranhoser has moved himself up into 15th position, in fact, so that is a very, very good situation to be in. But it is a bit of a climb now to get up towards 14th. It's about 2.8 seconds between Abranhoser and Gutmann. Gutmann, who will actually be having to push a little bit more to regain to where he was. But this three-car battle pack does not look like it's ending. Abranhoser is getting to pull away just a bit. But Anache is right there behind him. And Clays is right there behind Anache, really. So if these two start battling, that will help Abranhoser out amazingly. In fact, I'm just looking about the grid to see where things are happening. Here's Stefan Kraling. 3/10 off of Piervu, one of the many BMWs we do have on track today. Actually very loose there from Piervu. Kraling looks to the outside, look to the inside. Does he try it? He does not. Svirkov there giving a bit of a power up the rear end of Kraling. However, they all stay where they were for now. Kraling, though, having lost a decent chunk of time as it happens. And behind as well, you can see Lucas Svirkov. Here we go. He goes to the inside through the spoon curve. Kraling can only hang the outside. Does Hajek try to follow as well? He does, but he gets all forms of loose on the curbing and the grass. So he's going to have to try and make his move at 130R. In fact, as down the straight, I believe the Audi will not lose as drag race down the straight to a Porsche. However, Hajek does stay behind for now. Maybe trying to get the move into the first corner instead, as into the Casio triangle we go. We are still... Kraling's now 21st after losing 20th to Svirkov in a very quick, very calculated move by the Russian driver. Now we'll see. Will Hajek try down the inside at the first two corners? No. In fact, it looks like he's lost time through the first two corners.
Kraling has now lost a whole deal of time to Svirkov up ahead. He's also gained a whole gap on Hajek behind, and as I say that, it literally all closes back up because Svirkov is trying to negotiate Piervu, and they are all slowing each other back up in the crane. Up the inside, there is contact at the hairpin. That was a very late move there from Svirkov. Up the inside from what we could see, and now he's dropped back down behind Kraling, in fact. As now Kraling might have a go on Piervu. Hajek going right up to the outside. Or Svirkov clearly has some damage as he tries to go up the inside of Kraling. Lots of counter steer there. Even more, you can see the rear end absolutely stepping its way out. The Lumirank is not showing a meatball flag, as we call it, as it will now be too wide into 130R. Hajek will try up the inside as well of Kraling. Up the inside, Hajek has to take avoiding action as that gap to the apex was rapidly closing. Is now down the inside. Hajek gets tapped by, I think that was Siasan. There, it might have actually been Savsku. My apologies if it was. Into the Casio triangle. It was indeed Savasu. Wow, as for that crash earlier on, it looks like Gareth Williams has picked himself up a 15-second time penalty. So that is going to be one of the biggest penalties given out today, I do feel. And it's going to be one that I think could have been avoidable. I think Boris is in the chat. Don't text and drive, kids. I think is what we are saying. I don't think he's happy about the penalty he has obtained. Svirkov as well, having picked himself up 5 seconds. Savsku 15, and Reyes also 15, as well as Saruso's. They're also too, and Svirkov was looking up the inside once again at the hairpin. This was where he had a crash on literally the previous lap. But as we run our way towards the 45-minute remaining mark, it hasn't gone quick, but that is because absolutely so much has happened in such a short space of time. And I'm sure we'll be due for a lot more as we see Svirkov trying up the inside. A bit of contact there between Piervu And Svirkov gets his way through, and it looks like Kraling will also get his way through as well after getting a rear end tap from a BMW just a lap prior. This time he manages to get through without a BMW trying to merge with him. Why has Gareth Freeling got a 15-second penalty? We will go back to what I believe it was earlier in a little bit, so we're just going to watch this battle unfold a little bit. So what we are looking for, yeah, if it has actually shown up, smart thing, it will be this here that I believe is what has obtained the penalty. You can see he's gone to the inside and he's just been collected by Gareth Freeling there. I'm not too sure how the stewards have deemed it to be a necessary penalty. We'll see how any stewarding inquiries go at the end of the race, of course. But we are back with this very, very close battle pack that seems to not be giving up. It's the battle for 19th, which stretches all the way back to 25th. In fact, from Reyes here to Svirkov here, with Kraling just behind him. There you can see there's a decent bit of damage onto the rear wing of the Audi R8 of Weak Mindset Racing, piloted by Lucas Svirkov. Kraling looks like he's losing ground to the Audi corner after corner. A bit further up, we actually have Oliver under pressure from Ulrich, half a second separating these two drivers. For P11 earlier on in the race, well, it looks like Vela got himself up to P10 while everything else was happening. I am just looking at some Statorinos, making sure that everything is still working fine. Oliver has looked like he's built a bit more of a gap, and we see Savsku going very, very deep at turn 2. Reyes getting his way through. I'm not sure maybe if that was to help with a bit of contact, or if that was just a mistake through the corner. And now we see Hajek right on the rear end of Siasan. Is looking, I think, for the opportunity to get his way past as they head over. Wow, so much curb there from the Audi, but Siasan not taking as much as I think that BMW can. Not sure if maybe he just missed his turning point by a little bit, or if the car is not set up to do curbs. It's almost down the inside there from Hajek, but that door was not open whatsoever. As with 40 minutes just over left of today's race, we are getting ourselves closer and closer to the pit stops. Now Hajek right on the rear bumper of that BMW. Now, could we see the move into the first corner? That will be the big, big question. He is getting closer
to Piervu. As the laps go on, the pit window is open for 15 minutes. So drivers have to make the pit stop within this time. We saw Imola Vella falling foul of this earlier on in the season. This was at Imola round 3, as that is a very, very odd move to make, but Hajek has managed to get himself up the inside of Siersan before the hairpin, which I do not see very often, in fact. But that is the Audi right up into 22nd. Now he'll be chasing down Piervu, who is 7/10 ahead. As Gons is in the chat. My fan club has joined. So 30.5 minutes on the pit window, and some drivers already heading out of the pit lane. Kedzier and Gutman going in. I think that was Firkov and someone else in the pits as well. So there will be the opportunities to under, over, and I don't know if middle cut is a racing term. I am coining it now as we actually see a race in the pit lane. It is the group of BMWs coming in, and clearly there must be a discount on BMW tyres, as they have all come in right together. As we see Stefan Hildebrand chasing down actually Zink ahead, who's in the Audi. He got passed by Abramhoser as well in the Aston Martin. However, he is not pitted yet. He's in 13th, as now that lapping there of Abramhoser and Zink had seen, in fact, Hildebrand almost making the move, but it wasn't to be. Is this iRacing? No, this is a Sella Corsa Competizione by Kunos Development, the official game of GT World Challenge. And remember, for solo hosting, look down in the Twitch profile to GPORTAL, who proudly sponsor the streams. As into the pit lane comes Maxim Komjazuk. He's 2 points off of the lead of the championship so far. He didn't have a great race last time out, and it has been getting better, I think, throughout this race. But Oliver will be under pressure now from Ulrich, who is behind in the Bentley. That Audi, I do not think, is in contention for this fight at the current minute in time. But these two have been threatening to have a long drawn-out battle for a while. The gap is now sitting at about 4/10, maybe less, as it extends and retracts through the corner. Now, we will see. Ulrich is right up the rear end there as they head under the bridge once more. For people that are new to ACC and how the tower looks, the box next to the driver's name states the amount of pit stops they have to make. If the box is green, that means the drivers have made their required pit stops for the race. They must make their pit stop within the pit window, which is open for 10 more minutes, just over. In fact, 10 minutes and change. As we were on the front, not the front bumper, sorry, the bonnet of the Bentley, and now we're on the inside. And you can see that BMW is looking a bit scatty now as he heads through the spoon curve. We will have to see, but that Bentley seems to be losing time through the second sector, and then somewhat gaining it back through the third, before losing bits of it again through the first.
It's through the Casio triangle. Mount the curb. Mount the curb. Now, will we see the BMW head to the pit lane? We will indeed. Ulrich stays out for another lap. Up ahead as well, Vela, Grammer and Pitchick have all pitted in. As all further back, we have a yellow flag for Costinger. What has happened here? He's just lost it. He's lost it and he's nosed it into the wall. That is going to be a good bit of damage. Oh, very, very good avoidance there from the McLaren. Wow. And Costinger has gone over to the other side of the circuit. That is going to be quite a big repair bill. Oh, you can see the steering damage. In fact, watch as he straightens out. He goes through the corner. Now watch as the car's just not turning for him at all. That is going to be a repair bill and a half. As further up the grid, we see Stefan Hildebrandt for VRL Performance on the rear end of Zinc. Lamborghini versus Audi, and it looks like at the minute Audi is winning. However, doing that will not help as Hildebrandt is now in 30th position. The commentator's curse is real. The commentator's curse is absolutely real. I say that, I follow the battle, and then it immediately ends. Brilliant. As here is Manuel Catalano heading out of the pit lane after finishing his stop. Behind him as well looks like Kraling and Lucas Zvirkov. Because the pit lane does spit you out at one of the most terrifying points on the calendar, as it spits you basically out on the racing line. Now, with 32 minutes and change left, how much longer are we going to be seeing drivers go? As Ulrich is in the pit lane right on the brake, absolutely slammed his foot on there to get himself slowed down. In he goes. We get to see the pit lane and the massive hill that it runs down. Very very smooth all the way down, as you can see. And into the box. Now, Soldatov has yet to pit. The car behind Gavrilin has 15 seconds of penalty to serve, and Freefield's running in P2 has pitted a lap early, so maybe the undercut could help him, as Soldatov is looking to dispatch of drivers as we get the driver's eye camera through the Spoon curve. This is a very close battle there. Ulrich has lost it. And further up the field as well, Vasily Anfried gains the position back off Capogreco, so I'm not sure if maybe there was contact, because it looked like Capogreco gave the position back. Capogreco has yet to pit though, so it could be because of that. I'm not sure, because it would have been a race for position. As further up the grid, Ole Pitchick has come out of the pit lane in P12. I mean, a lot further up, but really the top 5 cars have yet to box in. Vasily Groma would have gained off of this as well. He's in P11. He was actually behind Pitchick earlier on. So that will be a gain for Vasily Groma, I believe. It'll also be a gain for Kezia and Kosmayak. Kosmayak as well. The Audi closed up massively on the BMW under braking. Here is Silverso starting his next lap. He has also pitted, but this is the battle we are all very captivated on. It is the battle for P10 between Vasily Groma and Ole Pitchick. He looks to the inside, thought better of it. I would have too, to be honest with you. I only go for that move if I'm right on the rear bumper. Mostly because I'm terrified they'll brake.
And on to start lap 17. Soldatov also snuck into the pit lane, as did pretty much everyone at the front of the grid. Dean Valadez starting his lap 17. Capagreco has also boxed in, so I think that will be almost everyone who's needed to pit has pitted at this point. And with 29 minutes and change left of today's race, 4 minutes left in the pit window, but I don't think people are going to need that entire time. And we see Pitchick on the dashboard there. You can see that BMW is getting closer. They're now up to 5th and 6th. After that, Kosmaic as well has grabbed himself up to 4th position. So that gap in points will still extend between himself and Soldatov, but not as much as when he was running in 10th earlier on. But we will very much see, I think, that battle appear further on in the season. Right on the rear wing of Vasigrama, the Digital Racing Squad. 333 BMW. It's a mix of really BMW and Audi sequentially from 1st to 6th. BMW, Audi, BMW, Audi, BMW, Audi, and then there's another Audi for good measure. Now, I'm just looking at their last sectors. Vasigrama was quicker, but by an absolutely minuscule amount. They have been absolutely nose to tail on time over the past couple of laps, and I'm sure this battle will very much hot up very quickly. 6/10 separating the two drivers. There is more time left. There's 27 minutes, in fact. There's definitely the ability there for a battle to unfold in front of our eyes, and I definitely think we will see it as a bit further back. We see Sirsan under attack from Piervu. However, it has not come to fruition as yet, as now back with Pitchick versus Grammer. Audi versus BMW. The Audi seems quicker in a straight line, but the BMW seems a little bit quicker through the corners, but a little bit slower on the brakes. I'm probably completely wrong, but that is what my brain is telling me. And after, you know, a day at work, I think my brain might be a little bit fried, but you can never be sure. It was on the rear wing. Yeah, it looks like the Audi's getting closer to 3/10. 2/10 through 130R. Is it going to extend? Let's see how much on the brakes they close up together. On the brakes, Audi's getting closer. You can see it under the rear wing. Over the curbs. Over the curbs. The BMW seems so much more stable over those very, very high up curbs. Now it's going to be 6/10 with Pitchick on the attack of Grammer. This is where it was earlier on. It's a bit further back. Boris Garafulin right up the rear bumper of Desic. Is he going to look to the inside? No, he's not, because that door was closing rapidly between Garafulin and Desic through the first two corners, but that door may open up a little bit later on. The gap's now 3/10 between the two drivers. The pit window has now closed, so drivers who have not pitted will obtain a penalty at the end of the race, but I believe everyone has pitted, in fact. As that sound you hear is me hydrating. Hydrate before you dihydrate, as they say. We're still with this battle of Desiak versus Garavullin, with Vela looking like he's catching up a bit in the background. As well as we get on the rear wing of the McLaren. The Macca. It is very much looking close. I'm not quite sure. I can't actually call this one yet, because it is going to be extremely close between these two drivers. And they are actually very close together towards the Casio triangle. But it's not close enough to make a move stick just yet. And now a bit further out the battle for P5 is still raging on, and Atche's picked himself up a drive-through penalty for something. I'm not quite sure as to what that could be. And Atche's come through to take his drive-through. So really, he's gone a bit lucky with where that's come through, in my opinion. As he was able to just sort of dive his way into the pit lane right at the start, and Nacho's going to lose a whole host of positions. He's down now in 21st. That shows just how much a drive-through hurts. I think the track that it hurts the most at, though, would be Spa, the longest pit lane on the calendar, if I'm on the game. If I'm not mistaken, I'm unsure of if we are going to Spa this season. We'll have a gander. We are indeed, actually. It's the next round. So anyone obtaining a drive-through penalty at Spa will probably be wishing that they didn't. I know I would, because it is one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar. But earlier on, Desiak lost the position out to Garavullin, as there is Costinger going off the circuit again, this time not face palming the car into the wall. It's a bit further back, actually. Dustin Bonds just driving about, really. Very happy, very happy, very driving. Railing's gone very deep and lost a position out to Svirkov. As well, he's now going to be under pressure from Hajek in the rear view. And a bit further up, Castellano on the rear bumper of Clays. It is a Porsche. They're not the quickest thing in a straight line, but I don't think the McLaren is either, to be entirely honest. But we see the two. It looks like that gap actually between Castellano and Clays has widened out, but the gap between Hajek and Kraling has not. It's actually gotten tighter from about 7/10 all the way up to 2/10 between the two. A little bit of rear end slip there from the Porsche. I'm not sure if he's got a more drifty setup or if that car is now starting to struggle with the rear tyres. I don't know how, as you know, he's really just put a new set on not too long ago. As over the curve, the Porsche taking a lot less, but seeming to be faster through that corner. We're still on the dashboard of Hajek. We're going to jump on the interior. See, is the Audi going to close up on the brakes of the Porsche? No, not quite. A bit further back. Savsku right on the attack of Bonds. BMW on the outside now through the Dunlop curves.
Is he going to get the overspeed to get himself past the Audi? Yes, he is. That is the move there for 24th position. Savsku on bonds, and that was a brilliant move for the BMW driver for PGN Esports. And here is the battle that has refused to die down at the current minute in time. It is still Ole Pitchik in 6th versus Vasagrama in 5th. The gap now sitting at about 2:10. When I glanced over and looked at my time tower, it'll probably be a bit more now as we head through the timing zone. Timing tower thingy. Yep, 5:10. So now down the straight, the Audi R8 is going to have the speed on Kraling. Is he going to be able to get himself past and not go tight through the first corner? No, he's not, but he will hold the apex. And Kraling now will have to quickly make the move on that Audi, because the Audi will be quick through the first sector. That is a very, very good move there for P19, but Kraling is staying right on the wing of Martin Hajek. He will pounce on any mistake and on any opportunity or open door that he possibly can, as through the Dunlop curve we go. Not chicane, this is like one of the furthest things from a chicane. The Porsche hitting less curve, and this time slower through the double right-hander, and then under the bridge again. The gap now 4/10. Could he try to move up the inside of the heaven? I wouldn't. And he's not. He was maybe having a little bit of a cautionary look if that door was going to be open, but at this point it was not open still, really. That gap is now extending. It's almost to the second, in fact, through the hairpin. And with 17 minutes, we're under the 20 minutes mark. Up ahead, oh, Catalano very deep into the gravel. Clays as well had lost it a bit better off than Catalano, but that was almost a double wall. That it looks like those two cars all right, but that will have opened Lucas Svirkov up beautifully, I think, to the rear end of the cars. He's now 1.2 seconds off. That was sitting at about 2 seconds just a moment ago. We may be seeing more of these battles unfolding as we come up to the end of the race. Now, this battle has absolutely refused to cease at the minute. Vasagrama on Pitchik. Their last lap, Pitchik was a little bit slower, about 6/10 slower. In fact, the personal best, Pitchik is in the 1:59s and Vasagrama is in the 2 minutes. Your best lap of the session is currently home to Soldatov, a 1:59.170. So we see Pitchik there taking two very different lines. Grama did not take as much of the curve as he possibly could. However, Pitchik did take as much of the curve as he possibly could. We will see how they go through the first corner. Once more, the start of lap 24. And up ahead, that gap is now 12.5 seconds. Sorry, oh, maybe a little bit of contact. It looked like Grama got a little bit switchy through the first two corners, and that should overpitch it up absolutely amazingly onto the rear bumper of the BMW. But that gap has opened back up again, half a second between them. It's something through that first sector that makes the Audi R8 unhappy, whereas it's something there that suits the BMW down to the ground. Catalano's got himself past Clays. Now Svirkov will look behind as well to get himself past Goes to the inside, past the defensive move. Little bit of door banging. Clays is round. He holds the brake and locks the front. Very, very good reactionary braking there from Clays to not send himself and Svirkov into the shadow realm. That is the kind of reactions that you want to see in sim racing and in real racing. In fact, he knew the car was sideways and he just tapped the brakes, locked the front, but that held the car at its angle so he could recover it. Brilliant, brilliant driving. A little bit further back, Boris Garavelin right on the rear end of Kazianski. He's looking to the inside at 130R. He does not go for it. He may look to get the better exit through the Casio triangle. Goes straight to the outside, switches back to the inside. He's down the inside of the Casio triangle. He'll get the outside through the second part. Now he will get the better exit. Maybe if that Audi does not work as a roadblock, he'll have the draft. He'll be driven right into the pit wall, but then he will cut back to the outside. The Audi might just be a bit quicker. Holds it. Holds the apex round. That might have been a bit close between the two drivers. I don't see any flashing. Never mind, I do see flashing of the lights. That could maybe be construed as a bit aggressive on the defense. We will see. Gareth Vrillin is still right on the rear bumper. You can see the LED array of the Honda NSX dazzling us as it dips below the rear wing and then back up again. Let's see, how much does the gap close? Through the double right. It closes up by a massive amount. Now maybe, I don't think it will be through the hairpin, but we may see something through the spoon curve. I'm not quite sure. The gap now 4/10. Boris may be looking to go a bit deeper and then cut himself back, but it's not done much, but it's not lost much either at all. Mateusz Kaginski is still ahead in P7, and with 12 minutes left to hold on, he's got 4/10 between himself and Gareth Fulham behind as well. As down the straight. Now the Honda looks to be able to catch the Audi in the slipstream, but then it looks like the Audi is faster when out of the slipstream. Now we saw them absolutely nose to tail through the Casio a lap prior, which did not help Gareth Fulham much, as the Audi was more of a roadblock to his exit. As on the brakes again, does not try down the inside this time. Might be looking just to try and grab the better exit, as we are going to jump on board with the 118 Honda. As we go down the straight, you can see the driver there twiddling the knobs. I think that's a TC knob, but I could be wrong. Towards the first corner, doesn't look to the inside, has a bit of a different turning point than the number 4 Audi R8. That looks like it's held now, as the gap is sitting at about 2 seconds. Now let's see, they are running so close together. This will be a very hard one to call as we head through the Dunlop curve. A little bit of counter steer there. You can just see Gareth Fulham trying to find the grip through the corner. He's not holding the wheel in one place. He's just looking for every ounce of grip that he can find, as the Audi is very loose. Maybe a bit of rear end contact on the exit under the tunnel. Looks to the inside. That door was closing very quickly. He has held position for now, but now Gareth Fulham is looking absolutely relentless on the rear wing of the number 4. He is looking just so ruthless there. There's now another run towards 130R. Will that Honda be able to catch up? And you can see throughout that entire lap, Gareth Fulham was just playing with the knobs, trying to just get the best match of, I think, both traction control and ABS
through the corner. Maybe the best use of everything. Really through there. As through the Casio triangle we go once again. It looked like Kaczynski was faster through the Casio triangle this time round. The gap now sitting at half a second. And that lap, Kaczynski was about 3/10 just under quicker. A 2 minute .980 as we have a yellow flag for Gala. He is round. What has happened here to Gala? He's on his own. Has he just taken too much curb through the Casio triangle, and has that sent the car around? Oh, it has. He's just smacked that throttle absolutely hammer to the metal, and the car just did not want to run that at all, and it's spat out from underneath him as Hajek has lost a position to plays as well. We'll jump back on the replay and let's just see what happens. Oh, right around the outside at 130R. Beautiful move there for the Porsche to get himself up. As now we have Ole Pitchik. There's a Zink there just in the background, just enjoying himself, I guess. With now we are within the final 10 minutes. This is where everything starts to get a bit scary, as this will now be the point where you've got to make the moves. Just looking, we will see. They're staying apart for now, but a little bit further back. Boris Garofulin still on the rear end of Kaczynski. It will be absolutely edge of seat racing, as there's battles in two very important positions on the track. The gap now 3/10, just over between the Honda and the Audi R8. So on now the rear wing. We will be absolutely running these cameras until the end of the race. There is going to be some very, very happy faces in the outcome of this battle. Zink is just there again in the shot, enjoying himself. And that's going to actually hold Kaczynski up by quite a bit. That will open Garofulin right on the rear. Zink gets out at the earliest opportunity that he possibly can. As, oh, contact! And the safety punt. What has happened there? You see, up the inside, Garofulin's just gone for that. I don't know. And then you can see the flashing there. At least he gave the safety punt a thing. And you see Ulrich having lost position to Oliver just during that replay. They're sitting at about 3/10 between each other. With 5 minutes left of today's race. It has been an absolutely edge of seat affair, as Svirkov washes out on the back of Catalano.
this battle may not have enough time. 4 minutes left. Your current race leader, who have not actually seen a whole host of today, is Konstantin Soldatov. He has been absolutely dominant. He's pulled a 15-second gap between himself and Anafriv behind in P2. And he's just absolutely driven away with that BMW today. I'm sure that'll be a very, very big boost to his confidence going into the rest of the season. On the rear wing, it's the two biggest cars in ACC that are still commonly used. You see that gap to the Bentley has just opened out a little bit. Oh, maybe a bit of gravel there actually for Ulrich. That gap one's now opened back up 4 tenths between the two drivers now. A bit further back, the driver that was the subject of a collision earlier on in the race, Frederick Gutmann, has been on the climb back up. He's now in 14th. I think he lost out a bit in the pit stops. He's chasing the rear end of Abramhoser. 6 tenths separating the two drivers. That closed up by a massive amount there through the Casio triangle. It's not a hairpin, Husky. Stop saying that. Stop it. As now to the outside goes Gutmann. The outside can sometimes work if you can get the overspeed through turn 2. At this time though, Abramhoser has held the position there by grabbing the inside line and holding it all the way through turn 1 and turn 2. It's a little bit further back. Taylor Brady for Elite Racing Team, the number 12. On the rear end of Capagreco. With 2 minutes remaining on today's race. BMW versus Audi in a straight line. The Audi will get the draft. Will he try the inside of 140 yards? Just look how much it closes up though. He's not. He actually holds it up a little bit more just so then he can anticipate the braking and react to it. You've been driving an hour and 5 minutes. Now is not the time to throw it all away. I'm sure many drivers will be sharing that. So what's the word? That outset. But we should have, I believe this will be the last lap. There goes McLaren off the circuit because, yes. Lucas Virkov has started his next lap, which I believe should be the final lap. This will put him massively above in the championship. Get 35 points for a win. His closest rival is currently running in P4. There were 2 points between them. However, it is a math 8-point difference, so that's going to go up to 10 points between Soldatov and Komyazuk going into the next round of Spa. I am sure that the two drivers will be wanting to, in the case of Soldatov, extend that gap as much as possible, as often as possible, and for Komyazuk to be closing that gap as often as possible, as quick as possible. But today this will put him 10 points behind Soldatov going into the next race, which really the only way for Komyazuk to come round and do that would be to him finish first and for Soldatov to finish 7th. But as Soldatov comes across the line, he has timed it almost to lap perfection across the line. Soldatov takes the win at Suzuka, and a bit further back Komyazuk could be looking to try and gain some extra points right on the back end of Kezia. It wasn't to be though. The Audi had to slow down. Oh, that could have been a last corner attempt. Komjazuk comes back through in 4th position, Kezia in 3rd, and Anafriv in 2nd. But we will get the black box back. But we watch the rest of the cars come through. Gutman, he will have 1-2 final corners to make the move on Abramhosa. Abramhosa holding the inside. He has been defending like an absolute wall today, and he will come through to take 13th, and Gutman will come through to take 14th. As across the line they come. There, a few more cars will have left to come through. Catalano lost out the position to Svirkov. Svirkov then will come through to take 16th, and Catalano will come through to take 17th. I think Hayek and Clays will be coming through as well to take 17th, 18th, 19th will go to Kraling, 20th will go to Anache, 21st will go to Pervu, and 22nd will go to Cizan. There we go, across the line, and then the final few cars to come through. Very, very, very good race there today from all of the drivers. Suzuka is one of those tracks that always brings challenge, and it has brought challenge today, as there you can see the race control messages. So here are your race results. Coming through to take the win was Soldatov, followed in 2nd by Anafriv. Kezia come through 3rd, Komjazuk 4th, 5th was Grama, 6th was Pitchik. Now in sequential order, Kaczynski was 7th, Garafulin came next, followed by Desiek, Vela, Oliger, Ulrich, Abramhosa, Gutman, Gala, Svirkov, Catalano, Hajek, Clays, Kraling, Anache, Pirvu, Siasan, Savsku, Silruso, 5-second penalty for him. Bonds, Brady, Capagreco, Hildebrand, B.F, Zink and Taylor, and there are your cars that failed to finish. Yativ, Costinger, Reyes, Mullard, Parks and Campanella. What a race we have had today. What a race. What's happened to Svirkov? I do believe he was involved in a crash earlier on, yes. I believe he also got a bit of a penalty which he had to take in the pit lane, which would have put him at a mountain to climb. So next week, join me again at 7 p.m. BST, 8 p.m. CEST for Spa-Francorchamps. And then the next week on July 13th at 1900 BST, 2000 CEST. The final race for me, I believe, is round 6 at the Circuit Paul Ricard in France, with then the round 7 being the finale July 20th at 2000 hours CEST at Nürburgring. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I have been Husky. This from me and everyone at ERS. Thank you very much for watching. Have a brilliant evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you and goodbye.